We got our first good look at the upcoming electric Porsche Cayman this week, and while many of us were expecting this car to be an electrified 718, much in the same way that the new 911 GTS is a hybridized 992, from a close analysis of the new images and some of the information leaked from Porsche, it appears that the new Cayman is going to be a completely clean sheet vehicle that will not share any components with the 718 Cayman. For starters, the car has been designed around a completely new EV-specific modular chassis that Porsche designed with Audi that they're calling Premium Platform Electric Architecture, or PPE. So right off the bat, the most significant component of the car is brand new and has completely different dimensions from the 718 platform. At a glance, the exterior of the new Cayman looks familiar, but a closer look tells us that all of the body panels are new. Let's start by analyzing the profile. First, ignore this 911 styled rear 3/4 window here. It's fake, and this car will have the more familiar Cayman-shaped window. Why Porsche bothered to do this, I don't know. Someone must have had too much time on their hands. The first thing that sticks out is just how much this car looks like the Taycan. The elongated nose and Taycan headlamp assemblies have us wondering if this will be more of a Taycan coupe than a Cayman. Housed in the front fascia are active aero shutters similar to what is found on the latest 911 GTS, but the setups are not quite the same, as the 911 has 5 slats and the Cayman appears to only have 3. Many people are wondering why they are there at all, since there is no radiator, internal combustion motor, or oil to keep cool. The only elements that will be getting hot will be the brakes and batteries, so maybe these openings are channeling cool air to those components. But it seems like a much more simple and much better looking solution could have been found for this. On a similar note, there's no real need to have intake openings in the rear quarter fenders since there is no internal combustion engine that needs air, and none of Porsche's other electric cars have intakes in the rear fenders. But from looking at the camouflaging in front of the rear wheels and on the doors, it looks like Porsche is concealing a set of intakes. Porsche most likely decided to keep the intakes in place to provide visual continuity with the last 3 generations of Caymans, and these intakes will probably be utilized to cool the motor, battery, and rear brakes. Up front, we're also seeing much larger underbody fins. Another change that is evident from looking at the profile are the drastically different wheel sizes at the front and rear, and the new wheels appear to be a new design that feature 10 spokes and aero lips. These new wheels will most likely be found on the production version of the electric Cayman, so hopefully you like them. And if we look really close at the front fascia, we can see some camouflaging covering up GT4 style air deflectors. Lining up the new Cayman with the old Cayman also helps to expose additional differences. Looking at these cars together, we can see that the latest Cayman has a much longer wheelbase, and the rear end has been extended, and the roof line is raked much farther back. A front view gives us a better look at the Taycan headlamps and active aero shutters, and we can also see how bulbous the rear wheel haunches are, which now blend directly into the roof line instead of bulging over the rear wheels, which I personally think was one of the Cayman's most beautiful attributes, especially with the first generation Cayman. If you're new to my channel, I publish original automotive content that you cannot find anywhere else. So if you're not subscribed yet, click below. And be sure to click the notifications bell so you can be notified about my latest videos. Looking at the rear of the car, we see another unique element. The one-piece rear window and deck lid with an integrated vertically aligned third brake light. This component is most likely made out of something other than glass, like polycarbonate, to save weight and increase durability. The rear taillights and fascia are the most heavily camouflaged parts of the prototype, but we can see a set of completely redesigned taillights and also outlets at the outer edges of the bumper. There are most likely large vents in the rear bumper to exhaust heat from the brakes and battery. So from doing a deep dive analysis on the exterior of the new Cayman, I don't see any components that look to be carried over from the 718 Cayman. But if you noticed anything, let me know in the comments. Now, as far as the motor that will be powering the new Cayman, all we have at the moment are rumors, speculation, and intelligent guesses. But according to Car and Driver and most everyone else, the first versions of the Cayman will be powered by a single motor mounted in the rear, and then eventually Porsche will release higher-end trims that feature a second motor in the front. But I would expect that Porsche will only utilize a single motor for the Cayman and Boxster duo. Dual motors have become a popular choice for many high-end and electric cars, but most of those are large 5-seater sedans, and with the Cayman slotted below the 911, Porsche is only going to make it so fast. The motors in the Taycan Turbo GT make nearly 550 horsepower each, and I doubt Porsche will give the Boxster and Cayman more power than that, regardless of the trim. Now, the trickiest question of all is, when will these cars go on sale? 3 years ago, when Porsche began development of the electric Boxster, their intention was to have that car in dealerships by the end of 2025. But Porsche has been plagued with development delays, and the latest reports say that they won't be available until 2027, which could end up causing a huge profit loss for Porsche with the cancellation of the gas-powered Caymans and Boxsters and no electric cars to take their place. As far as price goes, it's anyone's guess, as Porsche has not provided us with any figures, and since they still have a large amount of development to do before the cars are ready to go into production, Porsche doesn't even know how much it will cost them to manufacture the new EVs. There's speculation saying that the base models will start at 80 grand, but at this point, it's too soon to say. So now that the Boxster and Cayman are electric, will Porsche still call them the 718? The main reason Porsche named the last generation of Caymans and Boxsters 718 is because when the cars first hit the market, they can only be had with 4-cylinder engines, which Porsche knew would upset the masses. So in an attempt to soften the blow, Porsche tried to connect their new 4-cylinder cars to the original 718 race car, which also featured a mid-mounted 4-cylinder engine. And as we know, not all of Porsche's customers bought into this marketing ploy, and Porsche eventually gave in and came out with 6-cylinder Caymans and Boxsters that they called the GTS 4.0. The 718 name was only used for one of the 4 previous generations of Boxsters, and since the cars will no longer have 4-cylinder engines, there's no need to continue calling them 718s. My guess is that Porsche will continue calling them Caymans and Boxsters, but the 718 moniker will probably be dropped. Some people have been referring to these cars as 983s, but we have no idea if Porsche will be adopting this name. We haven't seen many pictures of the interior, but what we have seen, the new EVs look to feature fully digital instrument gauges and a staggered dual-screen layout. Now, I threw this image together based on this image, and other than the 5 vertical shutters in the front, this is probably pretty close to how the new Cayman is going to look. Nothing really radical or different, just a larger Cayman with slightly different proportions and a few features that are similar to the Taycan and 992.2 911. So I know that a few of you are overly obsessive about telling me when you think I'm wrong. and I've made a lot of predictions about this car that contradict what everyone else is saying. So let's go over all of my predictions so you can come back to this video and tell me what I'm wrong about when these cars finally come out. I'm predicting that the Cayman and Boxster will only have one motor no matter what the trim is. I'm predicting that Porsche will no longer use the 718 name. I'm predicting that these cars will feature intakes in the rear quarter panels and deflectors in the front fascia. I'm predicting a standard Cayman window and not the 911 shaped window on the prototype. And I'm predicting a one-piece window deck lid that will not be made out of glass. So make a note of all that. In like 2 or 3 years, you can come back here and go to town in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and for more automotive content that you cannot find anywhere else, click here to subscribe.